How's it going, everybody? My name is Hyper and welcome to my brand new LEGO Universe single player setup guide. It's been a few years since I made my original guides, and the Darkflame Universe team has been hard at work with continuing development and making improvements to the software. So it's about time to bring a new video guide with all the new updates and improvements included. Now, as a preface, this guide is specifically for setting up a local non-public game server on Windows. If you're looking to set up an online server to play with friends, I've also released an updated multiplayer video guide that I will link in the description. The server that we're setting up in this video could be run as a multiplayer server or with a LAN configuration with some additional changes, but I'm not going to be covering that procedure or the requirements for that in this video. So I'll throw up a short list of the requirements for this tutorial on the screen. This guide can be followed on Windows 10 or Windows 11 at the time of recording. And there's no notable hardware requirements for running the server, but do note that you'll need a bit of wiggle room since you're going to be running the server and the game itself on the same computer. I recommend that you have about 8 gigabytes of memory for this, but 4 gigs on a somewhat recent computer would probably be fine. If you run into any issues and you need assistance, please don't hesitate to join my Discord server and ask for help in the LEGO Universe channel. A screenshot and a short message letting me know what you're getting stuck on will be a huge help to getting me to answer you quicker. But please remember, I'm just one guy, so please be patient. The link to my Discord and links to anything else used in this video can be found in the description. I'll also include a link to the written guide that this tutorial is based on, which was graciously written and shared with the community by Hailstorm32, so huge thank you to them. And lastly, before we begin, please stop right now and check the description or the pinned comment on this video. If there's any future changes to the software, there's an issue that I missed during the setup, I will make an explicit note of it on the linked web page in the description or the pinned comment and provide exact instructions on how to fix it. It's really important for you to check this before starting in case there's something that would completely hinder your progress if not fixed beforehand, and I want this to be as quick and painless as possible for you. Alright, thank you for listening to me ramble, and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is download everything that we need for this. There are 3 programs that you're going to need to download. The first one is the Microsoft Visual Studio C++ redistributable. This is important for running some of the server backend stuff that you don't need to concern yourself with, but it's essential for making sure that this works. So I'll have this linked in the description, and you'll see this section latest version. So you can go under here in this table and look for the x64 option and click this little link, and that'll download it. Do note that when you go to install this, you do have to restart your computer, and that's why I already have this installed, so I don't have to restart while I'm recording. Next, you're going to need 7-zip. You could use any unzipping program, but 7-zip is pretty reliable. So I'll have this website linked there too, and you can click this download link right here to download 7-zip for your computer. And then next you will need MariaDB. This is a database software that will be used for storing all the wonderful LEGO information that needs to be stored for the server to function properly. So I have this link as well. You're looking for the MariaDB community server. It'll come there first. Then over here, you can leave the version as whatever it is, but pulls it up. And then for OS, look in here and look for MS Windows. And then it'll change to the Windows download and just click download, and that's what the one you'll need. And then lastly, you're going to need to download the Darkflame server itself. So I'll have this link in the description below, and look for the one that has this latest tag next to it, and then click the version number there. Currently it's 2.3 when I'm recording this, but that could change in the future. Scroll down to the bottom, look for this assets section, and then find Darkflame server-Windows and click that, and it'll download to your downloads folder. All right, now that you have all that software, the last thing is to get a copy of the game client for LEGO Universe. I cannot share with you where to get this client from. If you have an original copy of the game on disk, you could certainly use that. But otherwise you'll have to use your resources to track one of those down. There's a couple versions out there, including a packed version and an unpacked version, which just means that there's a difference in what files are immediately visible if you open up the folder. For this case, you can use any of the client versions. I will show you how to verify that you have the correct version of one of the clients to make sure that you're using a safe option. So you can see here I have the client downloaded in this RAR file, which is a type of zipped archive. To do this, you go to your Windows search, type in cmd to open the command prompt. Then from here, type in CERTUTIL space dash hash file, HASH file, and then do a space, and then drag the file from File Explorer and drop it into the command prompt window, and it'll give you the full path to where this file is. And then type in capital letters SHA and then 256. Then hit enter. And then after a second, it will give you this big long string of numbers and letters. I'm going to put on the screen right now the last 9 digits of known good client zip files. If you take those numbers and look at the last few here, you can see if this is a valid client that you've downloaded. And if one of these numbers on the screen matches what you have, then you're good to go. And for reference, I got this information from the official Darkflame server GitHub page, and you can find them yourself by going to the link, scrolling here to user guide, and then looking for the verifying your client files section, and they have posted the known good checksums for the clients that you can find out there. All right, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and install some more programs. The Visual C++ redistributable is a pretty cut and dry installation, so just open that, click next a bunch of times, and then restart and you're done. MariaDB, I'll walk through that with you guys because this one can be a little confusing because there's a lot of options. So once you open that, you see a pretty normal Windows installer. You click next, accept the license, and then just leave all these options as default. You want all of them for now. Click next, and here you have the option to change the password for the root user account. The default password is no password, so if you uncheck this box, the password will be blank. You can leave it at the default if you want. I might recommend changing it. So if you do change it, make sure that you remember it because it's not very easy to change it again. So I'm not going to change it for this instance, but feel free to do so. So once you click next, you'll get to this next page. Make sure you leave these 2 boxes checked and that this number here stays at 3306. You click next and then click install. Confirm the admin prompt if you get one, and then that's it for MariaDB. All right, so now I'm going to open my documents folder in a new window. Here we're gonna work out of our documents folder. You can do this anywhere as long as you just kind of follow the same folder structure that I go with, but there's nothing wrong with doing it here. You can just put it straight in your documents folder, or you can make a new one for DLU. I'm gonna do that because there's a bunch of things in here and I want to keep it nice and tidy. So I made a DLU folder here. I'm gonna open that, and then I'm gonna move the Darkflame server file that we downloaded and the LEGO Universe zip file to that documents folder, and then we'll close this one. From here, we'll right-click the Darkflame server file. If you're in Windows 11, you're going to have to click Show More Options, and then you can find 7-zip here in the list. Hover over it, it'll open this extra window, and then click Extract to Darkflame server-Windows. Next, we'll unpack the LEGO Universe client. So again, right-click that, show more options if you're in Windows 11, go to 7-zip, and then extract to LEGO Universe or whatever the file is called that you downloaded. And this one could take a minute. And while we're here, I should note that I already had this setting enabled, but if you're confused why you don't see the .zip or .rar, you have to usually turn that on in Windows. It might vary slightly in Windows 10, but in Windows 11, you go to View, and then Show, and then File Name Extensions. And then once you turn that on, you'll be able to properly see the file extensions so you can know what you're working with here. All right, once the client is done extracting, you can go ahead and delete both zip files for the server and the client to save some space. Then you want to click on the folder for your client and right-click it and click rename. On Windows 11, you can click this little rename icon here, or you can always go to show more options and click rename from this list. And then just call it client, all lowercase. Next, you want to open up your Windows search and type in MariaDB. There's going to be a whole bunch of options here, but you're looking for this one that says command prompt, and then it says MariaDB in parentheses, and then whatever the version number is. This could change in the future, of course, but as long as it says command prompt MariaDB, you can go ahead and click on that, and it'll open up a pretty normal looking command prompt. From here, we're going to type in a couple of commands. We're going to do mysql space -u space root, so that's the user, and then -p, and then hit enter. Now again, the default password is blank, so if you didn't change the password, all you have to do is hit enter. If you did change the password, make sure that you enter the one that you changed it to. So just go ahead and enter, and you're into MariaDB. All right, we're going to do a couple of commands here to set up the database. First, we're going to do in all caps create space user, and then do a single quote, which is next to the enter key, and then all lowercase Darkflame, and then one more single quote, the @ symbol, another single quote, and then local host, all one word, then one more single quote, then in all caps identified space by, then one more single quote. Then here you're going to type whatever password you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and use Lego Universe as the password. You are free to change this to whatever you want. It might be better if you do, but since you're just running this locally, it doesn't matter as much. So type in your password, hit one more single quote, and then a semicolon, and then hit enter. If it all went well, you'll see query OK, 0 rows affected. Next, we'll do in all caps create space database, and then Darkflame, all lowercase, and then a semicolon, and hit enter. Then you see query OK again. The next we'll do in all uppercase again, grant space all space privileges, excuse my cat, on, and then lowercase Darkflame, and then do a period, and then a star, which is usually on the 8 key, and then in all caps TO2, and then in a single quote Darkflame, and then another single quote @ symbol, single quote localhost, single quote semicolon, and then hit enter. And then you see query OK. And then in all caps, flush privileges, semicolon, hit enter. And then type exit, semicolon. And you're done. Now we can just close this window. We're done with that. Next, we're going to do a little bit of configuration for the server. Go back to your DLU folder in your documents folder, and then open the Darkflame server folder. From here, we're going to open up a couple of the executable files and allow them through the firewall. Since they're not exactly trusted by Windows, they'll block them at first. So we got to go through here and manually enable them. So going down the list, just find the ones that I point out here, and then we will double click them to run them. So first is auth server. When you open it, you'll see a big blue window saying that Windows doesn't trust the program. You have to click the little more info here, and then click run anyway. And then once you click that, the window will close itself, and then you can move on to the next one. And as a quick note, I recorded this clip on a different computer because Smart Screen was disabled on my PC, and you can't re-enable it if it's turned off. So if you don't get this pop-up, then you don't need to do this step. The next is chat server, and then master server, and then world server. All right, once you've done all that, you want to go ahead and find this shared config.ini file in this same folder. You want to right-click it. In Windows 11, you can just do edit with notepad. If you don't see that option, click show more options, look for open with, and then you can choose notepad from the list. And you'll see a whole bunch of stuff in here. There's only a couple things that we're going to be messing with. The first one is this first section here. We're going to be entering the database information that we set up earlier. So MySQL host, next to the equal sign, just type localhost. No space between the equal sign and the word. Then for database, it's called Darkflame. And then username is also Darkflame. Then password is whatever password you set up earlier, and in my case it was Lego Universe. Next, you want to look down just a little bit and look for this external IP line. Make sure that this is set to localhost. If it has something else or if it has nothing, just add localhost here. Then a little bit lower, look for client_location, and next to it put 2 periods, ... and then a backslash, not a forward slash, so this is the one that's above the enter key usually, and then type in client. So ... /client. And then right below that, you'll see maximum outgoing bandwidth. This is an optional step, but there shouldn't really be much harm in doing it. To just delete this 80,000 or whatever default value is there and change it to 0, so that there's no issues with limiting bandwidth while you're playing. It could cause lag and stuff like that. Once you've done all that, click File, Save, and then go ahead and close that. All right, next we're going to create our account that we're going to be using in the game. This is going to be the only time that you need to run the server from a command prompt. The rest of the time you can just open the file. But again, go to Windows Search, type in CMD again to open the command prompt, hit enter, and then from here, the easiest way to do this is again to open up your server folder, find the master server.exe, and then drag it over to the command prompt. And then you do space and then -A at the end of this file path. Then hit enter, and you'll see a whole bunch of stuff. It'll do a couple things in the background, and then you'll see a prompt to enter a username. Here, you can do whatever you want. So I'm just going to do hyper, and then enter your password. I'm going to do hyper, very secure. Hit enter on both times, and then you'll see this destroying my SQL connection. That means that this part is done. So again, you can just close this window. From there, we've got one more important step. Go back to wherever folder is your client folder. Go ahead and open that up, and then look for the boot.cfg file. So right-click this, and then open it the same way you did last time, with opening it with Notepad. So click Open With, select Notepad, and then here there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff again. Most of this you don't need to worry about, but what we're looking for here is that this auth server IP field is set to localhost. It should be that by default, but if there's something else there, make sure that it's changed to localhost and that you don't delete this comma. That needs to be there still. And the next thing is a little bit down, you're looking for this UGCUS use 3D services. It's a little hard to read when it's all squished together like that. It's gonna usually say 7:1. You wanna change this 1 to a 0. Once you do that, go ahead and click Save, close that from Notepad, and you're good to go. Now it's time to actually start the server for real this time. So go back to your Darkflame server folder, double click on masterserver.exe, and you'll see a whole bunch of windows pop up, and you'll also probably see some Windows security prompt asking if you wanted to allow into your network. You don't need to do this if you're just playing a single player, you're playing a local, because you don't need it to talk to the outside world. So you can click allow, you can click cancel, it's whatever, it's up to you, but if you want to click cancel, there's nothing wrong with that. So it'll ask you that for each of the windows that get pulled up, but otherwise you're going to see a whole bunch of them. One of them will be master server, and you can see that shown in this line here. It'll say master server. So once you see ready zone 0 or ready zone 1000, that means that the server started correctly, and you can actually start playing. So we're going to go back to our client folder, and then click on LegoUniverse.exe, and this will pull up the game, and we've already configured it to connect to our local server. And once this loads in, turn that down, type in your username and password, hit enter, and you are in, and you're at the character creator screen, and it's time to have fun. So that is all you need to do to get this up and running and get back to enjoy some of those memories. One last thing before we finish up is that I want to show you a bit how you manage the server and make sure you're doing everything correctly. So I just closed the game. To properly stop the server once you're done playing, so that you're not using up resources on your computer when you're not actually playing the game, you need to find the master server terminal window. Usually it's the first one when you click on it and expand and see all the different windows here. It's usually the first one in the list. But once you see master server here, you hit Control and C on your keyboard at the same time, and that will tell the server to stop, and it shuts everything down. And that's the proper way to do it. It's the easiest way to make sure it all stops properly. And again, the next time you want to start playing again, open up the Darkflame server folder, hit master server, and then it'll pop up, and then you're ready to hop back into the game. And last little bonus thing here, I'll show you how to update the server in case there's an update in the future, because there could be future updates or important functionality updates that the team releases in the future. So again, you can go to the same link that I linked before for the releases. If the number is higher than the last one that you downloaded, then that means there's an update. You can click on it again, download the same Darkflame server-windows.zip file. Then once you download it, move it back to wherever your client and original Darkflame server folder is. Open the original Darkflame server folder, and then look for the shared config.ini file. Go ahead and copy this file. And then go back and paste it somewhere safe, like your desktop or somewhere else in your documents folder. That way you don't have to reconfigure this every time. From here, go ahead and delete the old Darkflame server folder, and then right click and extract it again with 7-zip, the same way you did before. Once you've extracted that, you can go ahead and delete the zip file. Then open the new Darkflame server folder. And then once again, you have to open up the auth server, chat server, master server, and world server once before you can continue. So go ahead and walk through that. Then go back to wherever you saved your shared config.ini file, copy it again, go back to the Darkflame server folder, and then paste it in. If it asks you to replace the file, click yes, or replace the file. And then you're done. So you can start master server again. It'll look for your database, it'll find it, and then everything starts just as you expect it, just with the shiny new updates installed. So I really hope that this tutorial was very easy to follow. I hope that you have a great time playing this game once again. And if you encounter any issues after you set this up, or if you have any other questions, or you just want to chat, you're always free to join my Discord server and message me. I'm always happy to talk. So thank you for watching. Thank you for the Darkflame Universe team for bringing back all of our childhoods, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.